We're seeing you here on Run the World. Can you talk a little bit about what the premise is and really what drew you to this series?
So the show focuses on four women and their friendship and them just living and thriving in Harlem. But it's a comedy, and that really just like highlights the love of female friendship and support and being a flawed human being. So I was attracted to this project because my favorite genre is female friendship. I love to watch. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's TVs or movies or reality shows, yeah, any of it. I'm here for female friendship, especially women that love each other and can call each other out and show up for each other. Because I really relate to that in my real life. That's my real life. I'm super super close to my girlfriends, and we are each other's chosen family. So that's what I was most excited about. And then it's also black women in Harlem. So what's not to love?
Oh, that's right. My mom always says sisters doesn't necessarily mean blood. So this is such a beautiful portrayal of that. And the chemistry between the four of you is just wonderful. I mean, were you familiar with any of your co-stars before working with them on this series? Because it just seems so seamless on the screen.
Yeah, so Brisha and I actually have been friends for a really long time. We just have a lot of mutual friends, so we would see each other at like birthday parties and stuff. We were both working for NBC on sitcoms at the same time, so we were, kind of in the mix at the same time doing that together. But we'd never actually worked on anything together. So when I found out that they wanted her to play Renee, that was all kind of happening simultaneously as them asking me to play Whitney. I was texting her and I was like, girl, if you do this show, I'll do this show. Cause we already loved each other. That was like easy. But no, we met the other girls through the casting process, and Corbin first came in and she was reading for both Sandy and Ella roles. And she was doing a mix and match with other actresses. And with me and Brisha, we would just like watch her, switch hats and become the other character. But it was very obvious that she needed to be on the show. No matter who she played, she was clearly more suited to play Sandy. But she just like fit right in with us. She was just like a homie right away. And then, so she got the role next. And then it was the three of us were brought back for a whole other day of chemistry reads. And that's when Andrea came in. And the moment for me that I knew Andrea was right is that she just sat. They had us all sitting in like four chairs in a row, doing a scene that's actually from the second episode of the series, and we're all like in a bedroom, like girl talking. And she just sat in her chair and put her knees up in her chest and like got real comfortable and cozy. And that was the moment where I was like, there she is. That's our friend. She fit right in. You know what I mean? Like she just settled into the space so well and like held her own. And she's so different. All of us women are so different from one another, but it was clear that like we still had this wonderful chemistry, and that's exactly what the show was. It's like these four women who are so different, but have each other's back no matter what. Their views on life are different, but they're going to show up for each other and support one another. And that's how it felt in real life too.
Well, Whitney is already a standout for me. What was it that drew you to be a part of this particular role? And was there anything maybe you even added to her that wasn't in her initial breakdown?
Oh, that's interesting. Um, so I relate a lot to this character's like perspective on life, like just her approach to life, I should say. Her approach is very like by the rules. Like I'm going to get what I want. But I'm going to do it by following the rules. Like she's not much of like she's not going to ruffle many feathers. She wants people to like her. It's all kind of about like the optics of how people perceive her. She's going to do the right thing. She's going to find like the perfect man and have the perfect job and go after everything that she wants and like check all the boxes. And I'm kind of like that also. Like I'm guilty of like putting others' opinions of myself first. The older I get, the more I have let that go. Certainly okay. Becoming a mother, I'm like, okay, your opinion doesn't matter and I got this. But, I spent a lot of my younger years like just kind of being a people pleaser. You know, I'm a Libra. I really want everyone to get along. I don't like drama. And that, so I related a lot in those terms to this character. But, you know, I'm attracted to this story because she's a woman who is now in her 30s confronted with, is that a life worth living? Am I really even enjoying myself? Because like, what if I had taken all the risks and I had just like gone out and done like the spontaneous silly stuff that all of my girlfriends have done? Like, are they happier because of that? And is that the path that I should be taking? And I think a lot of people can relate to that in their lives. And so that's what's so fun about the journey of this character through the whole first season. And she's leaning hard on her friends to like basically tell her what to do with her life. Cause she's like, I don't know. I've always done all the right things and I don't even know who I am right now. So tell me what to do.
Or let me try as many things as I can to see if this fits who I really want to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people can, you know, relate to that journey, just like of being a human being and not knowing if you're doing it right for you.
Exactly. Harlem plays a beautiful role in this series too. Can you talk about how it's almost like a fifth person in the series?
Yeah, the Harlem is huge. When Lee created the show, Harlem was like a main character. It has its own identity and its own culture, and the people who live there, it's unlike any other borough in New York. And she really wanted to make sure that people outside of Harlem like knew what Harlem really was all about, because we have you know, like a lot of people know about the Harlem Renaissance, or they're like, Harlem's the hood, and like that's all that they know.
Right.
And it's so not that, and it's so much more than that. And there's so much color and life and history to that part of the city that it was really important to Lee that we actually filmed in the city itself too. We are in the real bars and restaurants and street corners and parks of Harlem, and you feel that when you watch the show. It's very authentic.
Coming up, we'll be seeing the series here in May. What were some memorable moments you had from filming, or maybe episodes that people should really look out for that really stood out for you personally, or maybe were favorites of yours?
Oh, they're all so good. So we all watched them all together over Zoom a few weeks ago. We like binged the season together over 2 days. And it's all so fun. Every episode is so fun. There's an episode, you know, like there's an energy to the show that I think we've all been like missing in our personal lives lately because we've been in quarantine. And so I think people will really enjoy watching these people like go out and like enjoy themselves in the real world. They go out to like karaoke bars and you know, like late night cocktails and after work drinks, and they just are like living in the city. And every episode has so much of that. There's the fashion in the show is so colorful and like fun to look at and sexy. The people are really good looking on the show. Like every episode has so much to take in that it's hard for me to even pick a favorite moment, because like I love when all of the four of us girls are together, and that's not every single episode because of like the journeys that they're on.
Right.
You know, sometimes they're like zooming in and trying to phone call in, but like there's personal drama in their life, so they're like outside. And I'm speaking mostly about my own character. I'm a workaholic, so I'm not always there, but the episodes where the four of us are together are just hilarious and so fun, and there's so much joy in it that I think people will really look forward to watching those kinds of moments.
I really love about this series is that it's four women of color at the forefront, all leads of the series. What does that personally mean to you?
Um, it's enormous. It's really important to see yourself reflected in media, in things that you turn to for entertainment. And sometimes it's on a subconscious level. You don't realize it, but like these are really aspirational characters. These are people who you want to be friends with and you want to hang out with, and maybe who you want to be like. And I love that I get to play a part in that, because that's not always the case for people who look like me. There's not a lot of characters out there. I mean, you could really list them on probably just two hands of, those kinds of characters.
Okay.
And it really means a lot. It's also very validating for someone like me, because I know to the outside world I'm Black, but I never really fully grasped who I was as a Black woman, because I grew up in this like bubble where my ethnicity wasn't really like acknowledged, in a beautiful way, but also just like when I stepped out into the real world, I didn't know like if I was Black enough. And so it was really awesome to be asked to be a part of this show, where it was validating to me, like, you are a Black woman and you are enough and you get to play this person. And knowing that there are going to be other people who watch the show who will now get to watch me and identify like a little bit of themselves in a character. That's like really a lot and really cool for me.
Well, I might be dating myself, but this is like a modern version of Living Single to me, and I'm sure you've heard that a lot with this series.
Yeah.
How did the two compare? I mean, I think this is just another, to me, it's an elevated Living Single. What would you say to people who would compare the series?
Well, the creator of Living Single is also our showrunner for our show. So there's obviously going to be a lot of like comparing the two, and Eric Alexander, is
Is
on
on
our
the
show.
show.
But it's just kind of like it's like the modern version of that. That show did what it needed to do for its time, for what the culture needed. And our show is doing something different. And I think that's what's so, like, Yvette acknowledged that. She wasn't trying to create Living Single, the sequel. She wanted to shepherd the show into, the successful thing that she had once created. So she really gave a lot of leeway. Like she really wanted Lee and her vision of what the show is. Lee Davenport, who created it, wanted her vision to be highlighted and really tell like the modern story, because Yvette acknowledged, she's like, I can't tell the story of what people in their 30s are dealing with right now. I'm not in my 30s anymore. I did my 30s 20 years ago, and that's when I made Living Single. So it's really, our show is just like a reflection of the times and like what's going on in our culture and what it is to be a woman right now. I would say our show really highlights like what feminism is, and we are not talking so much about being single or in a relationship. And it's not about like how to find a man and how to keep a man, and changing who we are to like fit into that mold. It's now, our show's like about living and being our true selves, and the people that we date, like, they elevate themselves to be with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like it's more reflective of like what's really going on right now.
You're a part of social media. Are you looking forward to that instant fan feedback you're going to be receiving to episodes, whether they're from women who do see themselves in Whitney, or whether it's just people who are, supportive of this beautiful journey you've been on in your career?
Absolutely. I mean, it's so flattering when people like what you do for work. It's funny when someone comes up to me and they're like, I'm so sorry to bother you, but like, I have to tell you I love this thing, and that's probably so annoying to hear. And I'm like, it's never annoying to hear.
Exactly.
Are you kidding? I need to get a new career if I'm going to be annoyed by someone telling me I'm doing a good job. Okay. So I very much look forward to that. I want people to really find this show as like something that they look forward to every week. I love that our show's a weekly show, honestly. Everyone's binging all these things, and that's so fun, and I'm totally participating in that stuff too. But I love appointment television. I love that like every week I get to sit down and I get to, immerse myself in this one storyline, and it just gives people something to look forward to every week. So I think it'll be fun to interact with people on social media every week and see how they're enjoying the show. And I really just feel really good about it. I know that the show's good. I've seen it. I love it. I'm proud of it. I'm ready to like talk about it with more people.
Good. What would you like to say then to everyone who's been a fan and supporter of you Whether it's from Greek to the Carmichaels to now, it's a beautiful journey you've been on. What would you like to say to fans and supporters of your work?
Well, I'm grateful that they still like watching me. I haven't, you're not tired of seeing my face yet. I hope that they enjoy this kind of new direction that I've taken with this show. The show is certainly like a more mature show than I've done in the past. But I think it's just a reflection of like I've also matured. I'm an older woman. You know, the people who have seen me since Greek. You know, I was a child when I started that show, like quite literally, and I've grown a lot, and I appreciate that people, you know, are sticking on the journey with me, and I think that this show will not let them down. I think it's really fun, and yeah, that's it.